your host, Ken Chiarelli. We're going to deep dive on the financial impact, and there should be one, of this opening ceremony that basically puts Christians down. It mimicked the Last Supper, and they saying they're apologizing now, but the net effect is God will not be mocked. And what's been happening and what you can do about it. So let's talk about. Well, first thing, there seemed to be that there wasn't a warning to the Olympics before it even happened. I don't know if you know this. Just days before the Olympics, arson attacks on the 3 high-speed trains to France. Just days before the opening ceremony. And then, of course, as you know, once the opening ceremonies occurred, already the feedback on this has been so bad for the Olympics. Very, very bad. But I don't even want to talk about how disgusting this was to me being a Christian. And you shouldn't either. It is a mark of the beast and mark of Satan of what they did. But even what's going to happen now is what happened before. And let's talk about what's happened before. Well, first thing, right now, immediately the Olympics went after every single news agency, every single YouTuber, Facebook and everything, and had them pull down the video, them talking about it. They don't want this to happen. Why? Because big companies like Omega, who is selling millions and millions of Olympic watches, are now affected by this, because before the game even started, they were saying that only about 40% of the people would be even tuning into some of the games. And now millions are just saying, I'm not even going to be bothered watching. That means that millions and millions of dollars in advertising money will be wasted. Now, some of the other things that happened, they pulled off all the videos everywhere off the internet. Isn't that amazing? How were they able to get that done so quickly? But even so, first thing happened is tech company pulled out their advertising. Major tech company pulled out their advertising from that. And right now, other major advertisers are pulling this. The financial backslash on this is being incredible. Not only that, like I said, God will not be mocked. Major outages in Paris have occurred 24 hours after the drag queens mocked God during the opening ceremony. And as we know, the Bible says, God is not to be mocked. Whenever a man sows, he will reap. Whether you're a Christian or not, there is a universal law. What you give out, you will give back. And the backlash on this is incredible. Let's talk about the kind of backlash that has happened. So what am I talking about? Tractor Supply Company is the next company that was decided, just like Bud Light, to go DEI. And basically decided to install woke policies, install hiring practices, that we have to do this and we have to do that, and we have to have Gay Pride Day, and we have to do this inside, and we have to have allow our employees to be able to have come in and drag and all of this, and it just blew. And what happened is Tractor Supply Company's employees blew the whistle on them. And a gentleman by Robert Starbuck posted a video on X, formerly Twitter, and started a boycott of the Tractor Supply Company. Well, when you start when you affect the company on its bottom line, on its money, that's when usually they'll wake up, just like Bud Light, just like Target. Target was another company that did this. And he went after, they gave him the information, they created a boycott, and their stock tanked. And eventually, of course, they turned around and backed up their DEI initiatives in conservative pressure to return to their doing business as a normal company. And that's really the bottom line. You're a company, you need to stay out of this. Well, there's other companies that now are being targeted. They're going to help whack and push this back. One company that may actually is already starting to feel the pressure is Netflix. Netflix just gave $7 million to Kamala Harris to push the DEI agenda. And that is going to cause a tremendous amount of backlash on Netflix. Netflix already has been suffering. And of course we know who else has been doing it, and that is Disney. Disney, in every area of their lives, in every part of their company, has been pushing it. The latest Star Wars release, the Accolade, started pushing this, putting witches and totally ripping apart the Star Wars agenda. And every single movie that they have been putting out has failed. And now they're suffering. Look at their parks. Right now, attendance is down like it never has been down before. Normally, during the month of June and July, they have tremendous amount of growth because it's the summertime, everybody's off. But people aren't coming to the park. Where are they going? To Universal. And Disney was saying, well, Disney World, oh, yeah, because it's so hot, that's why they're not coming. But while their attendance is tanking, Universal has had the highest attendance ever in Florida than ever before. And they just simply don't want to learn. But meantime, they're losing millions. So whilst Tractor Supply Company was the last company that Robert Starbuck has formed and helped inform the public to get them to turn their policies, there is other companies that are now, as a Christian, we need to go after, and not to destroy them, but to wake them up and to doing business as a business, not getting involved in politics. So I suggest to you that you do look up Robbie Starbuck on X and subscribe to him. But let's talk more about what happened at the Olympics and how God won't be marked. A lot of people saying, oh yeah, it's a couple companies, a couple of this, a couple of that. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a couple of stories of how God gets angry and judgment occurs. Go back many, many, many years. You remember with the Titanic on its maiden voyage? It posted that not even God could sink the Titanic. Well, we know what happened to the Titanic and the loss of life and the loss of many, many businessmen. Well, let's fast forward a couple of years. Years ago, in Disney World, the gay community, and I'm not putting down the gay community, please don't think I am, came to Disney World and said, we decided that in June, on this date, is going to be Gay Pride Day. And not even God himself can stop us. Well, there was a hurricane that was in off the Atlantic. It changed direction, and it went through Disney World, and for the first time, they were closed for a hurricane. Well, that same organization went over to Pensacola Beach in Florida. At the same time, that hurricane had moved out towards the Gulf of Mexico, was heading in the opposite direction. Well, what happened? They put a public announcement on the air, got the TV stations together, and I think it's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they said that this was going to be a gay beach, and that no, not even God himself could stop them. When you mock God, you are getting yourself in a world of trouble. Well, what happened? If you know anything about hurricanes can't change direction. Well, this one did. It made a 180-degree turn, came straight at the Pensacola Beach, and destroyed it. And this is not the first time this happened. You go back in the Bible many, many times when someone mocks God, God will eventually have his say in the matter. Go back many years, several years ago, there were 3 senators that were voting for a bill for abortion. And they said publicly that not even God could stop this from this happening. Well, go look it up. I don't want to give you all the information on it. I want you to research it. Well, their hometowns, where they live, 3 minutes later, tornadoes touched down and wiped out the town. So when you say, "Oh, I support this politician, but he's doing everything against God," you live in that town, you can expect something to happen. When people say, "Oh, all this bad weather and all these things are happening," yeah, okay, really, 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 really. Well, I can imagine now that what's happened at the Olympics, even though they've apologized, the amount of loss of finance and money will be incredible. People are not going to tune into the Olympics. People are not going to watch it. Some people are going to buy products from the companies who advertised, because they're go as a way of boycotting and showing their their total feelings towards what they did and allowing it. Because it doesn't matter if you say, I'm sorry, what they did, you're sorry. And if you think this is being silly, let me take an example. This Easter, we normally have the Easter egg hunt at the White House, right? Beautiful day, and it represents the Catholic holiday of Easter. Well, what happened? Joe Biden turns around and gives it Gay Pride Day and brings all this gay pride into that. And if you remember, I'm not even going to tell you what he said that day. But look at Joe Biden today. Joe Biden can't even find himself out of a box. His mind is destroyed. You getting the drift? My brothers and sisters, I'm not saying anything about this except that we need to pray and we need to be active. We need to vote with our vote. We need to get involved in politics. We need to push back on this. And those of you who are pro-abortion and pro all this, you're not a Christian. If you're pro abomination and murder, you're not a Christian. I'm sorry. You may not like it, but that's the bottom line fact. You cannot be a Christian and be a Democrat at the same time, because the Democrats support murder and chaos and all of this. You need to vote for conservative and what is for it. And I'm just giving you some basic facts. Anyway, if I would recommend that, I'll leave you the link for Robbie Starbuck. Check out his channel. Look into all of what he's doing, and get behind him. Get involved in your politics, your local politics, and make sure you're registered to vote. Because right now, I don't want to be on the wrong side of God. Because with all the natural disasters that are happening, and floods and tornadoes, God is not happy, and I don't want to be involved around when He gets angry. At any rate, this is your host, Ken Chiarelli. Put it in the comments whether you agree or disagree. Obviously, this is going to be a huge amount of financial loss for the Olympics and all its advertisers. And until next time, check out my other videos, and God bless.